Scars are created by an event and/or a loss. There are faces behind the loss which don't age any longer and will always stay in their time within your mind. While events can take on many faces, blurring the lines over time, and sometimes overexposing multiple images on top of each other, building up and distorting a memory. This body of work started when I had a meltdown of losing my name, and for a moment I felt lost, my whole identity of who I was, who I had become. I created the first images of this style of painting with only intuition and the feelings I've carried inside, through the loss of my name and what it meant to me. Losing my identity reflected my sadness and loss I felt on how I identified myself with the world. I went back to creating my paintings, in which I use color coding and linguistics, following the process of my art practice of layering paint and investigating. Then my father died. It didn't even really register at first, but there was this feeling of being thrown out of my element, like a fish out of water. I went from being on the top of my world to the basement with just one phone call. While getting ready to fly back to Germany, my mom had asked me if she could use this image I had painted for my father's urn. I wasn't sure what to think first, but somehow it felt fitting. After his passing, I was, for the first time, unable to get myself together or to paint. I was rocked with different emotions and pain and grief, and I questioned the way I painted. I felt insecure in what I had done up to this point. I felt even more insecure moving forward. How can I justify dealing with this pain within my paint? How can I express the huge amount of screaming pressure within myself? So I began to pour paint for the first time. It was just as messy and new to me as all the emotions I now carried inside of me. It reflected how I felt at the moment: displaced, lost, angry, abandoned, sad, and alone in this mess. The pouring allowed me to work with the paint in a new way, to be immediate, to be as frantic as I felt inside. Most of the work turned into a brown mottled mess, confirming my state of mind. With the loss of my father, my own helplessness suddenly unearthed a lot of other buried emotions and memories long forgotten. Those memories had been pushed aside and were now coming out of the ground full force. They reflected the state of mind I was in dealing with each emotion, event, and loss separately. The first few of the pour paintings were a huge mess and raw, and while painting them I felt myself trying to give them some sort of order, something to dull the edges, trying to find a way to how to live with it, trying to heal and cope with all this through painting. Each layer of color reflects a different mood, a different feeling on how I feel each day painting on this work. When I started to feel that I had a little more control of my feelings in some sense, I started on the large series of the 6 paintings. It meant I had to rip off the band-aid I put over my eyes and my memories about other events. I wanted to face my demons, and for once, face them full on. Rather than keeping them in the back of my mind and trying to forget or trying to deny those scars that had happened, all the while I was trying to not acknowledge what it had done to me and how it shaped me and who I thought I was while carrying those scars. My father's passing and dealing with the anger bubbling up inside me brought back the grief of losing my friend a few years back. Until this point, I never fully realized that I hadn't allowed myself to grieve his loss. This time the grief came at me with full force, with no end in sight. Losing someone opened a wound all the way down to my bones, and it exposed everything, every experience of pain I felt. My mind was not able anymore to differentiate the different sources of this pain, and I had to relive many moments of grief again, some in my dreams, some crippling me in waking moments simply through a smell, a thought, a picture, or a memory. Besides painting this new body of work, I also began to write every day for 10 minutes on the recommendation of a dear friend. I never anticipated how freeing it would make me feel, how it actually helped my painting, how it helped me to heal. The writings have accumulated just as the layers of my paintings have, taking the rough edge of my feelings, allowing me to see through the pain, allowing me to live with the scars, letting them have their part in shaping not only who I am now, allowing them to play a role in shaping my future without being controlled by these scars. Feeling lost without you. When I sat and wrote about my memories, I lost it and cried uncontrollably from the ache and pain. I basically had a meltdown. How did I end up in this city? Why was I in such a tiny space? I felt as though I couldn't breathe. I felt like I couldn't think. And most of all, I had no idea how to change things. It felt like cement encased my feet and the water level was rising all around me. Panic set in, and it was hard to have a coherent thought. It's just a huge squeeze around your heart, fearing it will burst. More than ever before in my life, I believed I could die from a broken heart. I needed to find a way to heal. So I went into the studio and sketched out my feelings into this new painting, trying to put it into the painting how I felt. The pain was there. Why would I want to alter its shape, hide it, or make it better? As I kept painting, the feeling gradually grew and naturally changed on their own. The act of painting softened the immediacy of my emotions. It gave me a way I can work through the emotions. The beginning stages of my painting sometimes startle me, but I keep on working, allowing the hope to come through. Is this a work of art I want to share? Do I want to show this once it's finished? I don't know if I can instill my hope into my work. And there's always the sneaky certainty that I will fail. It took every ounce of willpower I had to work on this painting. What changes do I need to make? There was some ambivalence about letting go of my sorrow. My father never said I love you. This whole painting is about missing those 3 little words. That loss put my whole life into turmoil. Would my life pivot on the point of missing those 3 little words? This whole painting was unfinished for a very long time because of those missing 3 words. A painting started because of those 3 little words never came from the person I needed to hear them from the most. I never heard I love you from my father. It never crossed his lips. He never gave me those words as if too precious as a gift to give. left me yearning and feeling undeserving. There was always the hope one day the phrase would be uttered. He knew I wanted to hear some. I told him. He never told me he loved me, and now he is dead. My work has changed since my father's passing, going through stages of visible anger and despair, and most of all sadness. The last few months added a new element with COVID-19 and social distancing on a global scale. It kind of embodies how I feel about my father. He practiced social distancing with me all my life. And when he died, he single-handedly took away the confidence I had built over the years. I questioned whether I had just let myself lose all my gains. I never wanted to finish that painting, but I had to force myself to have it at a stage where it could be called finish. Painting it felt like pulling teeth. I was still unsure of my feelings and not wanting to commit to any things that I had lain down on the surface. All those feelings of resentment, I want to stuff them into this one painting. No wonder I don't get it done. At times painting on it was a band-aid for my emotions. At other times it just opened the abyss even wider in my longing for the loves that was missing. There is always hope when I immerse myself in the forest, within the trees surrounding me, filling me with hope and dreams, letting me feel connected, being part of something beautiful, something bigger than just my life, holding on to a special tree, having the sun flow through me, sharing a feeling of resilience against anything harmful in our strive for life. Nevertheless, what life actually brings you, trying to keep that desperation that frightens me at times, that I'm not strong enough. It's this time to pull out. The walking on the tightrope with no sense of balance. I'm trying to balance that in my work with things that anchor me into life, giving me the strength I need not only to exist as a shell, but to live to the fullest with the scars life has given me. In my work, it translates into being aware of the process, allowing creativity to guide and intuition take a stand with its own language by allowing oneself to go back to the beginning. Art can be very empowering how to deal with those steps and can become very personal. It becomes a window into my own thought process, transforming emotion into a visual expression, opening up to suggestions and flexibility, allowing for the experimentation and collection of data on a purely artistic level, using that intuition and chance and time and also persistence to find a way of communicating those emotions. Allowing rather for a visual experience rather than only an emotional one. As life changes who you are, it shapes you with each experience, especially the traumatic ones call for adjustment and change so you can be yourself. To allow yourself to be the person you want to be. Growth can only happen when we are willing to embrace change, but also are willing to invest the time and effort it takes for that change to happen. The very physicality of the layers of paint, in addition to their metaphorical significance, becomes something important to consider when approaching my work. The complexity within my work, using direct intent rather than randomness for certain decisions. It gives me the opportunity to observe and manipulate growth happening in real time, yet embracing a whole lifetime of experiences that came before. What you've left with is reflections of a time gone by. For me, this whole experience never really felt destructive, but rather seemed to be cleansing through process. It was more about something evolving rather than something being destroyed. It was something raw, something growing richer, something personal, as well as using a language that brought understanding and compassion with it. So those are some of the little writings throughout my painting process where it helped me in my painting. First memory of Dad. Timer running, I don't know. It must be fishing. It's always fishing. I don't think I know my dad without it. I do remember him drinking a lot and cooking food. First memory of Kashmir. I heard a little noise off to the side from all the other puppies. A little black thing looking up from me from the cold floor. And I was head over heels in love. Oh my God, she is mine. You were already the escape artist's son. The moment we got into my car, we had this incredible bond. My love, my soul, my everything. From the first moment we met till the end, it only grew stronger. Andrew, the first time I met you, you were sitting in a bar. My first nightclub when I moved to the States. I just freshly left my husband, brand new in this country. English wasn't all that good yet. I went out for the first time. You were drawing on a piece of paper. That was what drew me to you. An artist sitting there with no care of his surrounding, only the task at hand. And I needed to talk to you. First memories of trees. I can sense their presence. They've been there for me since I walked on my own. My first tree that touched my soul was a weeping willow, I believe. When I close my eyes, I still can see her branches lean forward down to the water, a friend who would listen. I could dream boundlessly I was always safe in a tree, always free, and on top of the world. The tree would muffle my laughter and soak up my tears. I collect wood. I collect bones. I consider each remnant of who they were before. When I know that whatever was in front of me met a violent end, the pieces are ugly left behind. I try to find the inner beauty, what they used to be, how they should be seen. Not eyes averted, but wonderment, a little magic right inside. I'm still whole. I'm still alive. Yet I feel as if I was built out of those remnants myself, pieced together through my past, through all the things I had to see. Some are twisted and ugly, yet those scars are mine, waiting for the ocean of emotions to subside, polishing the shards to smooth pebbles. Trees are the poetry of life. The day is full moon. Gordy started the tradition of lighting green candles on full moon, and I try to do it when I don't forget. This month is important. It is his anniversary. I can't believe it's been already 7 years since he passed. From here on out, it seems someone dies on me each month till August. Tonight I will watch my candles burn and love and miss them all. Most of Kashmir.